Hello friends, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and today I'm presenting this gorgeous trellis card for cutcardstock.com. You've seen many of the trellis cards posted by other designers. Jennifer McGuire had some out there recently, and I just knew I had to give it a try. So I pulled out this Morning Glory layered stamp set from Altenew because I thought it would be just perfect because that's a climbing flower. And I'm using a wood grain piece of cardstock. You can't see it very well for the post and the crossbars. So again, the first thing I needed to do was trim my cougar cardstock, and this is going to be the base. So this forms the the base part of the card. So I'm cutting it to be 4 by 9¼ inches. And then I also cut my wood grain cardstock to be the same. And so I'm going to trim some of the wood grain about 2½ up at the top. And then I'm going to have about 1¼ inch or so piece at the bottom. It doesn't really matter. Again, measurements are, not real critical. So the first thing I did was I had this, this little wood grain piece for the top, and I went ahead and scored it. And then I'm going to use my bone folder to make that fold very tight. And then that's going to attach to the top. And then what I'm looking at now is, do I have enough left over from that piece to trim my 1/2 inch posts and things. So again, I'm trimming 1/2 inch pieces here, and they're all 1/2 inch. And so I'm going to run the vertical post. I'm going to have 2 of those with the side horizontal post sandwiched between. And again, it just kind of strengthens the entire card so that it'll actually stand up. So again, I've trimmed all of those pieces here. Then I'm cutting the sidebars to 4½, something like that, because again, I can trim those in the end to be the exact width for my slimline card. So again, here I am playing with that top again. So I grabbed my liquid white glue, and unfortunately it came out a little bit too generous. So again, I wanted to make sure that my card wasn't stuck shut. So again, I'm just kind of wiping off the excess glue, just making sure it is totally cleaned off there, because I don't want a mess in the end. So I keep clothespins on my desk. And so what I do when I'm gluing something like this, that it's important to have it adhered well, I go ahead and pull out my clothespins and stick them on the edges. And then we'll go ahead and set that aside for a little bit. Moving on to the inking. So again, I chose 2 different families from the Altenew family sets, and I'm stamping on cougar cardstock. Cougar is a great cardstock for stamping and stenciling and just doing all of those fun crafty things that we do. So again, I'm starting with the lighter color, and you can see here that I'm already moving on to the next layers. Again, with Altenew, you choose the 3 depths of color in a family, and then you can just start light, medium, and then dark. So at this point, I'm on the medium, and so I went ahead and just kind of inked up my stamp. I should say stamps. And then I decided that larger bloom was a little bit dark. So again, I just pulled a piece of spare cardstock and kind of stamped it off so that my next stamping layer is actually going to be a 2nd generation. But again, it's dark enough that I was happy with the results, and I wanted to be able to see the difference between that and the final layer. So again, I'm pulling out that final layer. And with Altenew stamps, you just kind of have to, hold them over the stamped image and kind of rotate them around until you find where they match and completely cover. Again, it's very easy to do. And again, they provide a layering guide, so it's great. But again, I'm going to go ahead and add one more layer of color here. And this is the dark, dark, dark color. Although in the end, it doesn't show that much differently, but that's okay. That is okay. So again, there's my leaves, there's my, my lines, my everything like that. So again, I went ahead and cut everything out. So now I'm going to start working on the trellis again. So I'm lining the parts up on my glass mat, which obviously has a great grid. So again, I'm going to be about a 1/2 inch over on each of the long sides, and then we'll go ahead and glue it. So I use some of the masking tape to put it on there. And again, I'm just trying to line the other piece up so I kind of see how far I need to go. And again, I'll just pull out, I ended up using 4 strips. So I just kind of moved them inch in between, just trying to, figure out what looks good and what is going to allow me to add my trellis. So again, here I go with that white glue again. And so we'll go ahead and put this on the top. Just using that white glue to glue the pieces on there. So I've seen lots of different trellis cards out there, online. Some of them are like just white picket fences with flowers. There's all kinds of cool ideas out there. So I encourage you to get out there and give it a try. And by the way, there's a red arrow at the lower right-hand portion of your screen. I'd love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel while you're here. So again, here I am kind of playing with this part here. And I want to get it trimmed up there at the top so that, again, it's an equal trellis. Although, in the end, I ended up putting flowers over it. So it really you wouldn't have seen it. So again, I'm kind of marking where I think I want to trim the top. So we'll go ahead and put it back into my trimmer so that I get those trimmed exactly the same length. Again, it's all about symmetry, isn't it? And so then we'll go ahead, and I left a little space opening there at the top, and you can see there I'm trying to pry it up a little bit so that I've got the front and the back vertical trellis glued on to that piece at the top. So again, that's kind of what I'm working with here. So again, I playing with my clothespins. And then we'll go ahead and add some glue there in the middle of those pieces. Just too much fun. I thought this was just great for spring. So then what I did was I pulled all of my flowers and just kind of arranged them there. And, I left mine on the left-hand side up that left post and left that right one free and clear. So again, I'm just trying to play here, making sure that I get, good coverage, and just, I've got the leaves kind of poking out there, adding a little bit of the green color. And then I'm a big acrylic block for holding my pieces in. Unfortunately, it gets my blocks a little gluey, but I don't worry about it. Again, if it holds my pieces in place, then I'm okay with it. So again, just still gluing. And again, it's important to remember that you only glue to the trellis. So make sure you don't have any loose glue anywhere else, because obviously then, you're going to glue your front to the back and the card won't open, and that would be just a huge disaster. So again, there is that part there. And again, I'm making sure that they don't hang over the ends so that they will fit in a regular slimline envelope. So again, we'll kind of put acrylic blocks on there. Now, while I was die cutting, I also cut additional flowers and leaves so that I could glue those on the inside to cover up any extra inky spots or whatever. And it also added some depth to the card. And so there's I've got the sentiments that I added. Again, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blogger. Would love to have you come and follow.